Welcome to the PKSOI Peace and Stability Journal. I'm Colonel Greg Dewitt, the new director of PKSOI. I would like to take a few minutes to update you on the activities of the PKSOI staff over the last 3 months and then briefly introduce you to the articles in the journal. I will close my comments with a few upcoming highlights for next quarter. Mr. John Weingartner, PKSOI's Training and Education Specialist, and I traveled to NATO headquarters in Brussels, Belgium to meet with the Integration, Partnership and Cooperation Directorate to have PKSOI designated as a NATO Partnership Training and Education Center, or PTEC. On 5 April 2016, PKSOI was designated a PTEC. PKSOI will be part of the NATO Military Contribution to Peace Operations discipline, which is currently headed by the Finnish Defense Forces International Center. In March, Colonel Mark Haseman and Colonel Jürgen Prattner led a discussion on finalizing training on protection of civilians at the Spring NATO Training and Education for Peace Support Operations meeting in Stockholm, Sweden. The NATO Allied Transformation Command provided a brief on global programming and the impacts of the military support to peace support discipline, which became the starting point for identifying training requirements and solutions for NATO forces and partner nations. PKSOI's Introduction to International Development, a U.S. Army War College elective taught by Professor Mark White, a USAID Senior Foreign Service Officer serving at PKSOI, studies the principles of international development in a fragile and failed state environment as an experiential learning component to explore the practical application of international development. The entire class of 16 traveled to Haiti for a visit with the embassy staff and experienced firsthand governmental interagency and non-governmental collaboration. In April, PKSOI finalized a draft curriculum for the Transitional Public Security, or TPS, which will fill a Joint Requirements Oversight Council Memorandum on Stability Operations requirement. The curriculum is the culmination of 7 years of research into the best approach for Department of Defense to assist in the justice system reformation of a country emerging from a post-conflict or failing state environment. TPS is a military forces establishment, promotion, restoration, and maintenance of public order. In April, Lieutenant Colonel Arnold Heberzettel provided instruction on protection of civilians and UN peacekeeping operations to service members from the U.S. Armed Forces, the Moroccan Royal Armed Forces, the Federal Republic of Germany Armed Forces, and other partner nations to include Mauritania, Canada, Italy, Spain, Great Britain, Tunisia, and the Netherlands. From 26 March to 3 April, Professor Tony Lito supported the Regional Cooperation Exercise, which is an important stability operations event involving nations from CENTCOM and PACOM. Professor Lito, along with the Army G3 staff, also taught the Army Security Cooperation Planners course at the Army Heritage and Education Center at Carlisle Barracks, Pennsylvania. Dr. Michael Spangler, PKSOI professor, provides our first article which outlines a strategy for creating an Afghan Army Reserve to retain the experience of former Afghan National Army, or ANA, and Afghan local police to compensate for the ANA's high attrition rate. Hannah Therian, a PKSOI intern, and Dr. Christopher Pallas, an assistant professor of conflict management at Kennesaw State University, authored our second article that compiled findings from the Community of Practice on Aid Reduction and Local Civil Society workshop at the United States Institute of Peace. The impact of aid reduction and donor withdrawal directly affects donor planning for special projects. Multiple authors from the Joint Readiness Training Center, JRTC, offer a solution to the 2010 National Security Strategy challenge of creating a U.S. government interagency-focused unified command planning training environment to establish regional and specialized commands which address global responsibilities. In an effort to respond to this requirement, the JRTC implemented a decisive action component to the training scenario which enhances interagency collaboration and relationship building and provides participants with the unique opportunity to interact with highly experienced subject matter experts and military personnel in a kinetic decisive action training environment. Our next article from Lieutenant Colonel Chad Rohrman at the JRTC addressing the capabilities of the 353rd Armored Regiment to provide regional engagement training to shape security environments and set the theater of operations. Christopher Holschek, a retired civil affairs officer, focused on addressing future civil affairs challenges and its findings from the Civil Affairs Roundtable held at the National Defense University in coordination with PKSOI and the Center for Complex Operations, or CCO. The final article comes from Dr. Kurt Mueller of CCO. and which provides a historical narrative of the ebb and flow of financing military transportation requirements. An example of which is the vacillation between the use of civil sector experts placed in uniform and then transferred to reserve components, as opposed to contracting some functions to civilian corporations. As far as recent events, PKSOI participated in Exercise Anaconda in Hungary from 25 April to 7 May, United Nations Challenges 20th Anniversary Forum in New York City from 7 May, and Women's Peace and Security Conference in Newport, Rhode Island from 16 through 18 May. In the upcoming months, PKSOI will be participating in several other events. On 7 June, PKSOI was invited to speak at the Nigerian Defense College on stability-related topics, and PKSOI will participate in the PTEC Working Group in Varna, Bulgaria from 27 June to 1 July. The next journal will address the work group findings from PKSOI's recently completed 2016 Peace and Stability Operations Training and Education Workshop, which brings together trainers, practitioners, planners, and educators. As always, if you have an article that aligns thematically with the PKSOI journal or would like to propose a collaborative research initiative, please contact us. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoy the journal.